Right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? How you doing, people? How you doing? Sorry that I'm a tiny bit late. First time we are streaming on Wednesdays. In that sense, don't worry. As I said, I'll adjust. If the day is not definitive, we will adjust the days in which uh, the stream works accordingly in the future. It's not definitive. It won't be necessarily Wednesday. I'm using Wednesday right now because it's what I had free this week, as I said. So, day number 16 of metaphysical analysis of Drakensang online, people. Day number 16. And for today, last time, we analyzed a lot of aspects of the gameplay mechanics in the framework of the mid-game gameplay mechanics precisely. Oh, I love this. I love that right now I can downgrade the stream quality there so it doesn't hit the connection like that. So last time we talked about the stat system of the game, in the framework of the in the framework of the stat system of the game regarding the min-maxing paradigm of the stat system, where the player could put the talents and where the source of the stat system was, if it was extrinsic or intrinsic like we did at the beginning. But we also added the new knowledge that we could get from the mid-game gameplay mechanics, basically the mid-game version of it in that sense. For today, because as I was playing yesterday, this Act 6, Chapter 3, BALOR's Return, we got to the netherworld or whatever, to Hades domains or whatever, pretty much, and there we had to finally revitalize the River of Souls, in which there were some dungeons, and the dungeons they were quite obscure, quite dark, and that will be related to the topic of analysis that you can read from the title description. So we did this. We beat the boss here. Nefertari and her allies couldn't touch the artifacts of the bound gods, and thus made use of the forces of the Alliance to open Yolotl, the chamber in which the world's heart is hidden away safely. Now opened, an evil force from beyond melts the underworld with Dracania to be able to cross over. That is Mr. Mortis, indeed. That, precisely, when we were revitalizing the River of Souls, the Ferryman told us several stories about it as we did quests and etc. So we are now helping the goddess. This was said by the goddess of life, which is kind of like the opposite of Mortis, and she tells us to take the seeds of the heavens and let the life of the creator shine upon the flower of life, and then my power will reach its peak. Were it not for my bindings, I could want thee more help. Oh well, pretty much. The thing is that here we have 50% extra experience when defeating enemies. I don't know if it has to be because of an event or some shit like that. And we will make use of it to level up a bit more to get to there we go. To get to the appropriate level to finish the game, hopefully. Indeed. Okay. With that little bit of a recap done, less than 5 minutes. See people, see how much I'm improving. In the past, I would do 10-minute recaps that, of course, were way too brutal for most people. Okay, let me crank this up. I know, 49. Okay, no, I can't. Let's go. We just go over there. We'll do it with standard enemies, pretty much. So We go over there. And check it. There it is. Pretty much. So, look at the dungeon, people. Look at this dungeon, please. This is something that I've discovered by the end of the previous stream, so I wanted to highlight it today. See how dark the environment is, with the vignette effect all around the screen, in that sense. So see how dark it is. And then please pay attention to the colors and speed of the projectiles of the enemies. I want you to pay attention to that because it's something that I discovered last time. You will notice that because of the zoom in amount, let's say the amount of zoom in of the camera that the game has by default, the dark edges of the screen and the colors of the projectiles, because of all of those factors, you will notice how difficult to avoid some of the projectiles will be. I want you to think about that for a second as we encounter those enemies. That enemy. This because I know the type of enemy. Look at that type of enemy. I'll place it on the edge of the screen. Look at that. See how the colors of the projectiles blend perfectly with the environment. Perfect influence of the graphical quality on the gameplay mechanics and well, the level design as well, because it's part of a level design, how the projectiles attack you and pretty much how it is designed, the zoomed in camera of the game, in that sense. So there we go. So I want you to pay attention to that. Why? Because as I mentioned yesterday in a bit of an extended recap, the fact that those projectiles blend with the environment is not random. It is absolutely deliberate. And by deliberate, I mean that the developers took the time to create another, to design them specifically like that, so it would be like that. Look at that. See how we could barely see the effects there, like that. There are some other projectiles that are slower, like that. For example, look at that purple one. That purple one was much slower and easier to spot in that sense. See how they alternated. They chose different animations for different projectiles, in that sense, and how it perfectly blends with the environment and enhances the difficulty of the game in a natural way. Now, getting to the second talking point of today. Then we will expand upon each of the talking points as we play. There you could see it, but I want you to pay attention to that. See how they are perfectly blending with the environment. The color, textures, and like animation of the projectile in general. First beam activated. Yeah, we have to activate the beams to ensure that the goddess can save us from the god of death, like that. So perfect. Activate the second beam. There we go. There we go. So pretty much I wanted to highlight that. Oh. I wanted to highlight that as it is a huge part of what creates another source of difficulty of this game. This one doesn't move. That's weird. I don't have any stance, just in case you're wondering, people. Corrupted Protector of Life. He's not dealing that much damage. Ancient Wisdom, Wisdom Tree, good. So as I was mentioning, it is a quite important part of the gameplay mechanics. Why? Because... There we go. Speak to the... in order to speak to the goddess here, for some weird reason, we have to get a key every time we go back to the lair. Which is quite weird in that sense. So pretty much the idea is that I want you to pay attention to the background of the game, and the hang on a second, and the color, speed, and animation of the projectiles. Why? Because like that, we will be able to spot how the developers specifically chose that style to make the projectiles blend with the environment. And as a direct consequence of that, maybe I have a key from yesterday? No, I need a key. I don't know who designed this mechanic. I found out about this yesterday. You have to come here. Wait, let me clear the area first. You have to come here. See how difficult to spot some of them are. Some of the projectiles in that sense. See how difficult to spot some of the projectiles are in that sense. So this is something that I discovered yesterday. I have to come back here and pretty much kill this guardian every time I want to enter the the lair of the goddess to proceed with the main quest. It's absolutely hilarious. I think they are being slowed by the frost damage, I guess. I wonder if there's a way to increase mana regeneration. That would be highly beneficial in that sense. But as I was mentioning, pay attention to how the attacks and everything, they blend perfectly with the environment in a perfect way, like that. See how perfectly the attacks are of the very same color as the background in that sense. So we kill the guardian, and like that we loot there. I bet you saw it said for a second, key to the sanctum of the goddess. Alright, pretty much every time you enter, you have to you want to enter the sanctuary of the goddess, you have to do that. Pretty much. So that's something that drew my attention yesterday. Because of how well the animations and the attacks blended with the environment in that sense. How they blended with the environment, and they perfectly they were perfectly designed to be difficult to spot. So they would land on the player in that sense, pretty much. The second thing is the enemy variety that I wanted to talk about, today. Though has prevailed, mortal life will flourish once more. Give report of your success to the High Priest and come back soon for the harvest. Oh well. Report to Istak the Wise in Yattlepetal. Petal. We'll do something, people. We'll kill the Guardian immediately. So pretty much, we don't have to come to do so again once if we have to come back, right? We'll kind of like hold on to the key. We'll hold on to the key. We'll hang on to the key. Sorry, not hold. Hang to the key. And look at that projectile. See, this is what I mean. See the difference between those, how difficult they were to spot, and how slow and fast. Well, the difference in speed was. See the difference in speed, but they deal less damage in that sense. So they balance that quite well, if I had to say. As for the rest, hey, what's going on? That one is not taking damage for some reason. That one is definitely not taking damage. I'll presume that lowers your armor. In that sense. At least this one is taking damage. So, there we go. So, maybe if there we go, consumable. There we go. Hopefully with that, we should be able... There's a bit of backtracking in this game. That really doesn't make... I wanted to grab the essence. That doesn't really make any sense most of the time, if you ask me. Like, it's report back and forth. Now, if they were different dungeons, yeah, but here's the same. You spoke to the goddess of the hunt herself. She called upon you to plant the flower of life, Quaiza. The tides truly are turning. I hope you make your way to Yolotl soon, as the world heart is still in danger. Okay. Mortis wants to join forces with BALOR. Life and death. Mortis would be death, and BALOR would be life. He created the dragon, and the dragon created BALOR. So I fear that these two coming together is terrible news for us all. Man, Dwarf and Tyas, you must be the first to reach Yolotl and save the world heart. Be careful, BALOR wields the power of the underworld. He's a fearsome foe. Okay. Return to Nahuatlan and find the portal that leads to Yolotl. Aha. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, that's immediate. First, do we have any other main quest? No, they are all side quests. Okay, no, they are all side quests. Let me check. Where would that be? Nahuatlan. Ah, yeah, it's there. So one. It's right from the main hub area there of the game, of the zone, of the whole zone. There we go. Okay, so this one is Twilight Dawns. Well, if it's not this one, it has to be the other one. Let's go over there manually. Anyways, that fine gentleman looks like he cleared a bit of the area for us. The respawn rate of the enemies is quite fast in this game. That's something that I wanted to mention in that sense, because now what land? There we go. Here you will see it, people. This one is also a quite dark zone. That is a quite dark zone. That, as you can see, as I said, see how well here because I got surrounded, but right at the center of the screen. But look at the projectiles. See how easy to spot those are. But see how difficult the other ones are. Okay, we'll have to fight. Anyways, I need the experience, people. There, for example, there was like a sonic attack by one of the creatures. There was a sonic attack by one of the creatures. Then there we go. That could... that was also quite difficult to spot. I don't know if you saw it. Here, I'll stay close so you can see this one. Well, now he's not doing the animation. It was like a purple... That one. I bet you could see it. See how bright and fast it was? Difficult to spot. So I like that the developers thought about that. Like, some of the animations are easy to spot, other ones are not that much. Now, related to that, I wanted to get into the second talking point, which is the enemy variety of this game. This game has amazing enemy variety. It has enemies from all types and sizes for every zone, with different attacks, different ranges, different mechanics as well, which is complemented, and this is my third talking point and what I wanted to get to today, main talking point, that they all deal different types of damage. They all deal different types of damage, as far as I can tell, in that sense. Then I have to confirm it. If not, then I take it back. But as far as I can tell, they deal like different types of damage. That's why the player has different resistances. Like there you can see, those are the resistances of a monster. But they also deal different types of damage to the player. So the enemy variety directly, proportionately enhances, directly, there we go, it directly proportionally enhances the elemental damage system of the game. So yeah, pretty much, people. In that sense, the more enemy variety the game has, the more usage, the more use of the elemental system that the game does, right? So it's directly proportional. The more enemy variety, the more types of elemental damage that the player has to take care of, the more variables that the player has to deal with, and that increases the abstract complexity of the gameplay mechanics, enhances the replayability, and as I always mention, that is always positive in that sense, as it directly enhances the replayability of the game, not through content, but through depth. The amount of time it takes for the player to figure out the mechanics and be efficient in combat. It's still locked. So you just come here to verify that it's still locked and go back and report. My god, so much backtracking. So much senseless backtracking in that sense. It doesn't make any sense. So much backtracking, people. So much backtracking. You weren't able to enter. That's impossible. Where did we go wrong? The artifacts are in the temple. We restored the balance of life and death, but still you may not enter. With the blossom of life in bloom, things cannot have gone back to how they were. I think I know what the problem might be. What might the problem be, sir? Eraser, I do not believe we restored the balance successfully. Artaya's artifact is in bloom, yet Mortis's power continues to grow. We must rethink how we go about this, But first, you must retrieve the crystal skull from the cradle of death. Okay. Okay. So you do a lot of backtracking without any kind of sense. You do a lot of backtracking without any kind of sense. Like sending you back and forth without doing any objective. This is like absolutely terrible because it's like artificially extending. This is what people mean when what I was mentioning in the previous streams, enhancing the replayability through content in a in a quite artificial way. Like it's forcing me to backtrack without any kind of purpose. Like imagine a game like Metroid Prime in which you actually have to constantly backtrack, but it is with a purpose. It's baked into the level design. Here it's just making me go back and forth. This is the point in which people start saying the game is boring, the game is repetitive. It's because of those things. What I mentioned the other day, precisely, is not that repetitiveness is bad on its own. It's when the proportion of amount of content and abstract complexity of the gameplay mechanics, when that relationship is in a disparity, let's say, is not compensated. You have a lot of maps, but you already master the gameplay mechanics, and you really master the gameplay mechanics, at least for this difficulty, of course. It's not that I know how to play the game perfectly, but at least you know the drill for level 48 gameplay. And it is forcing you to go back and forth without any kind of purpose, without any kind of objective variety, precisely, which is the other topic of analysis I wanted to talk about today. The objective variety. If there's one flaw, that this game might have, is that, precisely, there are some protection quests in which you actually have to protect the target, but in a direct comparison, for example, with Sacred 2, now I know what you must be thinking, but Eraser, pretty much what objective variety do you expect out of an isometric action RPG, a Diablo clone? What objective variety do you actually expect from it? It's just going from point A to point B, killing monsters. Well, it's not actually the case. It's not actually the case. For example, in Sacred 2, just to cite an example, that one because I played recently and I have my memory fresh about it. In Sacred 2, the objective variety of that game is legendary. Like, yes, you have escort quests, you have classic quests in which you kill a set amount of monsters. There are others in which you loot objects, similar to this one. See, for example, how dark this one is. I love how I am mentioning positive elements and negative elements both at the same time, simultaneously. In that sense, there's the River of Souls, people, that we restored yesterday, pretty much. That's the River of Souls that we restored yesterday. So there we go. So pretty much, you can barely spot the enemies at the edges of the screen. I think that's quite beneficial. Okay, here we go. The Altar of Death, the River of Souls. Speak to the Ferryman now. But as I've said, in Sacred 2, for example, you have a lot of escort quests in which you had to go from one point to the other. You had to go from one point to the other. And it was from one town to the other, actually. And you have to kill all of the bandits, or you had to, I don't know, well, not clear a specific dungeon, but kill a specific enemy and etc. It had a lot of enemy variety, basically. Enemy variety and objective variety. So in that sense, the game had a lot of it. And for example, Diablo 3 and this one, I don't find that objective variety that much. Diablo 2 is a great example of having a lot of objective variety. It is true that it's shorter, so it was much easier for them to actually achieve that balance. But you can see that Diablo 2 never feels completely repetitive in that sense. Why? Because, as I said, it's shorter, which is negative, because it makes the game shorter. But the objective variety is quite good. It's quite good because every quest feels unique. Every single quest feels unique for the player to discover, with its unique, specific own features and everything. Mortal, how dare you remove the god of the dead's crystal skull from the temple? All the preparations for his return are complete. Don't you know that only Mortis can destroy BALOR? Put the skull back where you found it, worm. Okay, so now I go back to the other one. Now I go back to the other one. We made a mistake in the preparations. So look at that, people. Okay. Speak to Istak. Istak the Wise. Yeah, the same guy. Like this, going back and forth. What's the purpose of this backtracking, people? What's the purpose of this backtracking? What is the fucking purpose of this backtracking? Smooth-skinned friend. That's a new one. That's a new one. Smooth-skinned friend. That's a new one without a doubt. You took the crystal skull, thus destroying the ferryman's plan to retrieve Mortis. You have my sincerest thanks. Even though you have angered the god of the dead, you did the right thing. Perhaps he can be appeased. Yeah, let's give him a cookie. Oh, Eraser, let us appease the ferryman, Mortis's foremost servant. For when he is angry, Mortis is angry as well. Go and find gifts that will please him. No, this had to be a fucking joke. This has to be a fucking joke. God damn it. This is the very definition of fetch quest. Right there. Let's talk about that, people. That's a topic that generally reviewers don't talk about, now that I named it. Now that I named it. What is the definition of fetch quest for you regarding the level design precisely? What would you say it is? What makes a side quest actually a fetch quest? And by that I mean like the ones in World of Warcraft or whatever. I mentioned this topic when I talked about when I analyzed Sacred 2. What is precisely a fetch quest? And what do players call a fetch quest? Generally, the player base, yeah, and we all instinctively, we say that a fetch quest, is a side quest, which isn't the main quest, of course, but the main aspect that generally the player base pays attention to is that it doesn't have the writing quality, the lines the storyline basically. All right, we have to deliver the gifts to the psycho there, to the psycho ferryman. Let's go. So generally, the player base classifies something as a fetch quest. When they want to highlight that the that the developers created it, without any storyline, and I put the emphasis on the storyline because that's precisely what they care about generally. When we use the word fetch quest, we instinctively, as I said, we talk about we're talking about that unconsciously in in such a fast way that we don't pay attention to anything else, basically. Um, the storyline, basically the storyline, in that sense that the side quest is just go kill 10 mobs and come back, but it has no storyline, right? The Witcher 3 changed this paradigm in a lot of cases as it designed side quests with supposedly with the quality of the main quest, the storyline quality of the main quest in that sense. But is it really that? Is it really, and this is my fourth talking point of today, is it really the storyline what determines the naming convention of fetch quest? Is it really that? Is the point? Is it really that? I I am inclined to say no. I mentioned this when I played Sacred 2 precisely. Precisely Sacred 2. What makes a quest any part of the level design of a game, the so-called fetch quest, I think it should be the objective variety rather than the storyline quality, rather than the writing quality, because then otherwise we are putting the emphasis of the game, of the quality of that of the side quests of a game, on the writing, on the storyline, as if it was a movie, rather than the objective variety, the interaction that is a video game, in that sense. So, yes, I would say that is a difference. More of that in a minute. More about that in a minute. My lantern, you really are trying to butter me up, aren't you? Well, Mortis's crystal skull, it won't work. Deliver the Sun Compass. Sun Compass. This will prove you very useful when transporting spirits across the River of Souls, but what I really want is Mortis Crystal Skull. And now we have to go back. God damn it. God damn it, people, what is this? God damn it. We're doing like a back and forth between them. My lord. My lord. Who had the great idea of designing this? Like, this can work for Metroid Prime, in which there's a high level of interaction with the level design. But but this is like going from point A to point B. This is what people mean. It's a clear example of when people say that a game is repetitive. It's actually a disproportionate amount of content with what the game is trying to make the player do itself. Like that, the activities, the objective variety that is trying to tell to a player. Terrible objective variety here. What? It's like as if I could predict that today was the day in which this was going to happen. I had no fucking idea. What? The Ferryman could not be placated? Fine. 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 I think that's not properly written. Fine. This news pleases me not. If you are not in his good graces, your spirit will not be able to traverse the river of souls. We must find another way. I see only one way to appease the ferryman. We must lay to rest a loyal follower of the temptress Nefertli, who has been evading Mortis for centuries. He came here with Nefertari and her people, who we managed to send away, but he remained, using powerful magic. He began rising our dead. After his death, he arose and continued his reign of terror. Many Tayas and Toltak have given their lives to seal him away forever in Nahuatl. We must finish what they could not. Okay. Find the sealed sepulchre and destroy Yorick the Stubborn. Alright. Alright. I can't imagine where that might be, but it's the final quest, so let's just get over there and do it. But yeah, this is what I wanted to highlight, that this is precisely what the player base means when they say that a game is repetitive. But see that it doesn't have to do with the gameplay mechanics themselves. I'm not getting tired of doing the rotation and killing enemies on its own. I'm getting tired of what I get tired of in that sense, or what would most of the players would get tired about in this specific case, is, as game reviewer I tell you that, is that shit, the damage over putrid shit. I couldn't move. See, this is what I always mean when I say the difficulty of the game derived from the level design rather than the gameplay mechanics. I died because I couldn't move. There was an area of effect shit there. Oh, once again over here! My fucking... Okay, well... Fuck, sorry. Sorry, people. Sorry about that one. I thought when it said no, of no charge, it would be inside of the same map. Okay. Otherwise, I would have chosen the other ones. Okay. This is what they mean. This was a perfect example of the concept of repetitiveness in isometric action RPG games. See, it doesn't have to do with me activating the abilities over and over again. It doesn't have to do with that repetition. It has to do with how the level design manages it in that sense. It has to do with how, in this case, it's making me go back and forth without any kind of abstract complexity added to it. The mental model is go back and forth between point A and point B of the NPCs in that sense. Imagine if there was more objective variety or something like that. I don't know. Random rift dungeons like Diablo 3, I don't know. Whatever. Side quests that actually provided you more experience as to incentivize you to actually do them. Ah, here it is. Yorick the Stubborn. There you are. There you are. But in this case, the game developers pretty much are just making you go from one point to the other one without any complexity, extra complexity to it. But it's not the repetition of the gameplay itself, of the gameplay loop, of activating the abilities in a sequential order. So in that sense, people, here you have the perfect example of what I meant in previous days regarding that topic of the analysis. Then, oh shit. Then that was faster. Then, in that sense, the game. Hang on. See, the game is beginning to force me to focus. That's not something that I had to deal with in previous dungeons. The game basically has, give me a second, has a pretty good enemy variety. If I had to highlight something quite positive in because of the elemental stat system that I was mentioning at the beginning. They deal, the enemies deal different types of damage, as you can see there, and the player has different types of resistances. So the more, think about this correlation, the more enemy variety the game has, the more complex the resistance system of it will be, the defensive portion of the gameplay mechanics. So I wanted to highlight that one as a positive trait. Yes. I wanted to highlight then the influence of the graphics on the gameplay mechanics, in that sense, and the level design. The fact that the projectiles are difficult to spot. And I wanted to highlight as negative, well, I just discovered, I think this was way too exaggerated, but it's been done before in this game. The lack of objective variety. It's incredible that it has good enemy variety, but bad objective variety in that sense. For not only for my taste, but in general, because it goes from one point to the other one. It's 1 point for the other one. It's 1 point to the other one. But that wouldn't be a problem if the activities that the player does himself had the variety. The problem is that it's not the case. Here you can see that I'm just making my way through to the ferryman and the wise catman of the village back there, back and forth. That's not bad itself. Backtracking is not bad on its own. I wanted to highlight this. Metroid Prime, for example, I always cite this as an example, has a lot of backtracking, but it remains engaged. It remains engaging for the player in that sense. It remains interesting in that sense because of the and there isn't kind of like a huge variety of actions that you do. The thing is that the interactions with the environment are pretty well designed. In this case, it's always the same. That's where the lack of proportion, the lack of balance between the amount of content, a lot of going back and forth, it's like up here, and the complexity is down here. That's why I see a lot of players that they just skip the dungeons in between, in that sense. Now, going back to the other topic, the naming convention of fetch quest. The naming convention of fetch quest related to this topic. That's why I wanted to cover all of these aspects today. I felt a powerful spirit enter the river of souls. You've accomplished great tasks till now, mortal. Perhaps you can even corner BALOR. Regardless, don't count on winning any points with Mortis after thwarting his plans. See, once again the same. Once again the same. This stream, well, this stream will be, if this goes on, no, it's already been 45 minutes, 48 minutes of going back and forth. And you can see that I'm doing it fast. I could have skipped some more of the groups, but pretty much you can see how fast it is. The Ferryman giving, that is the first step, smooth-skinned warrior. Although you have not won any sympathy from Mortis, I hope you will not encounter him again soon. Now we must make our way to the Blossom of Life. Okay, Eraser, I have a terrible feeling that Artaya's sanctum is in grave danger. You must return to the Cradle of Life to help the goddess. Before you leave the temple, ask Artaya for the holy artifact. I only hope she's more benign than the Ferryman. Here I have the key, so I should be able to enter immediately. It's the same, going back and forth again. This zone is terrible. It's like explicitly repetitive, if you know what I mean, people. Like, go back, come back, go back, go there, come back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's how all isometric action RPG games work. Think about Diablo 2. If you play Diablo 2, you'll know what I mean. If you don't, if you haven't, basically um, it has less quests, but they're more unique in that sense. For the amount of content, repetition of maps in that sense, is extremely high. Alright, and I have the key, so I don't have to worry about that. Because I looted it before. So, getting into the naming convention of Fetch Quest. I wanted to talk about the naming convention of Fetch Quest today as well. And Holy Lich Beasts destroyed. If it that one, if it... Ah yeah, they got into the Sang. Well, if the goddess cannot defend against these 3 mobs, I'll be damned. What's this? Seriously, speak. Hi. Hi again. Thou hast slain my enemies who invaded my divine space and stole the blossom. Very good. Retrieve the blossom and slay what is left of those thieving scum. Mortal, thou must seek the creatures of the enemy, for they know where the blossom lies hidden. I place my faith in thee. Shit, this zone is like extremely in the earth grotto. Okay, this zone is like extremely repetitive, people. It's like at least in Sacred 2, every quest was different. In that sense. Whoa, that clipping. I hate that clipping. No worries. Case of The Witcher 3, in which the player base labbed it. Because of the fact that the quality of the side quests was as high as the main story quest. However, I think that's a mistake. Why? Because I think it should actually be derived from the quality of the naming convention, calling them fetch quests or not. I think it should be derived. It should rather be derived from the objective variety of the game, in the framework of the level design. Why? Because at the end of the day, we are talking about a video game rather than a movie. We're talking about a video game. And precisely, and this is related to my previous talking points, here we go. And this is related to my previous talking points. The repetitiveness, in that sense, the repetitiveness of the content will be determined by the objective variety and the quality of the gameplay mechanics, but the objective variety in this case is the one that plays the biggest role. I'll show you the next hypothetical situation, and I bet you'll see what I mean. Let me apply all of them. This one, we don't need it. 0.002 movement speed, we don't need that. If it's also the shining, the glade of light, there we go. So Master dodge? No. Oh my freaking god. I hate how they surround and bother you like that. See, this is the moment in which the psychology of the player starts thinking about... I'm getting to the point in which I start to understand the old school players of this game that start skipping all of the enemies in the map and they just jump around to the objective. See, and it's way too fast for my taste. Like, we are only... Speak to Artaya again. That implies getting the key again from the boss. Like, this makes no sense at all. Makes no sense at all. People, makes no freaking sense at all. Makes no freaking sense at all. It wasn't that Guardian. It was another one. Another clone of it. In that sense, as I was saying, considering how big the game is, the enemy variety is quite good. The thing is that, yes, I said, Sacred 2 is like, well, it just blew my head how big it is and how much variety it has in that sense. The idea is that objective variety should determine the quality of the naming convention fetch quest or not. If you ask me why, because it will be the component in the framework of the level design that will actually ensure that the player doesn't fed up, doesn't get tired of the repetition of the gameplay mechanics. It will be what will actually complement the gameplay mechanics of the game appropriately. So, yes, pretty much. So yes, I would say it's that. I think the naming convention fetch quest is actually terrible. It's actually terrible because it, as I said, it puts the emphasis on, oh well, it's a fetch quest because there's no storyline to it. You just go kill some mobs. And it's not because of that that I would classify the side quests as fetch quests. When we say fetch quests, is that it's really MMORPG like World of Warcraft, like fetch, go grab something and come back. Like there's no other content to it. I think that if you apply correct level design to them, like Sacred 2 did, you can 100% change that. In that sense, you can fail some of them, then you can kill some bosses, you can I don't know, some are troll quests altogether, in which the developers constantly constantly mention it to the player. Could have done that the other way. First the icy one. We'll go. Magnificent. Now we grab the key again. We grab the key and go back. Perfect. And there we go. Okay. So I wanted to highlight that the enemy variety of the game is good, that the influence of the graphical quality on the level design is good because of how dark some of the environments are. And last but not least, what I mentioned about the fetch quests, that it's a terrible naming convention and that it should be derived, classifying it something like a fetch quest, not from the storyline, but from the level design variety of the game. In the case of this one, it is exactly like World of Warcraft, and I would classify them as the side quests as quite repetitive as to say fetch quest, but not because of the fact that they don't have a storyline. It does have a storyline. The thing is that the objective variety is not there. I wanted you to at least think once about the reason behind why you might see that any new players or whatever may call them boring fetch quests or pretty much whatever, because of the lack of objective variety. It's always doing the same, when you could actually add some variety, like escorting people, I don't know, protecting a specific, that is included in some in one or two quests, but the proportion was quite low. I think it was only 5% protect the person quests, craft stuff there, things that don't add to the objective variety of the game. Thou hast a Stoltak supernatural fetish? Now I know those worms stole and hid my blossom. Be my sword mortal, rain my wrath down upon them. The enemy stole the blossom and placed it in the final resting place of a shaman in Nahuatl. Shoot for me and run red with the blood of a Toltec. One. Enter the sealed sepulchre in all of Toltec. Alright, we just... Yeah, I love how it in what people say, that this is what usually people say, that the game makes them shut down their brains. The thing is that with me that doesn't happen, people. I keep analyzing even if the gameplay mechanics might be boring or whatever. It's not that it's that it doesn't have the objective variety for the it doesn't have the objective variety for the gameplay mechanics to remain engaging in that sense. That's the thing. It's not that that killing the mobs gets boring. It's not that, which is what the naked eye of most people would mention. No, the real reason is the objective variety. I assure you that Sacred 2 used a quite similar formula and had ways to mitigate that. As I said, the real problem is when there's a lack of proportion between the content and the depth. The depth at this point at level 48 has already been... It hit a threshold of diminishing returns. Pretty much as you can see, I'm making my way through the game without major issues for this specific section. But there's not enough objective variety as to counter the amount of content that they are putting into the game, in that sense. That's the thing. High Shamans of Toltak found? No, it's just a small dungeon. See, for example, there's no point making the player go and kill these mobs. They should have designed... Either the game should have been shorter, this is artificially extending the difficulty. That is what it precisely is. Destroy the High Shamans of the... High Shamans of the Toltak complete. Take the Blossom of Life. Well, this thing. The green one. The green one. Skill already. Float Diamond Lining. More resistances. Good. For example, I know that I'm citing Sacred 2 a lot today, but really that game did everything right. For example, in that one, even if you got... again. Even if you got tired of... I don't know... killing mobs over and over and over again, the discovery of each different region, the game was so massive that distracted the attention of the player because of how massive it was. Here, since the dungeons are narrow, you don't get that feeling that it's kind of like an adventure because of how instanced the game is. In that sense, I would have made the level design a bit more open world. I think it would have definitely mitigated the lack of sense of discovery, if you know what I mean. Yes, the game has different regions and etc., but they are like instanced in that sense, and because of that, you don't have that ominous feeling like you have in Sacred 2. Because Sacred 2 feels like everything is interconnected. There are no loading screens at all. There are no loading screens. Only when you enter a dungeon. It's absolutely brutal. Artaya herself asked you to retrieve the blossom. In fact, She knew you were coming? This is great news, my smooth-skinned friend. It means Artaia is on our side. Return to the temples of the gods with Artaia's blessing, where you will offer the blossom of life to Mortis and the crystal skull to Artaia. If this balances the forces of life and death, the entrance to Yolotl will open. To Mortis in the altar. Oh my fucking god, I have to get the key again. My lord. My lord. Whoever designed this zone really had no the questing philosophy of this zone really didn't have a lot of passion for what he was doing. I honestly can't follow the storyline and everything, but it's way too much. Here again, it's the same. It's going back, killing the guardian again. It's killing the guardian again to knock on the door. Here, that this, maybe this shit, like that. It's incredible that that I have to knock once again on this door by killing the guardian. Like killing the guardian, like it's I don't know who designed this section, but it's the worst out of all of the game. It's the worst. I'm sorry, people. It's the worst section out of all of the game, definitely. I think it's the worst section out of all of the game, without a doubt. What's the point of going back and forth between this zone and the other? My lord. I think it's not dealing damage. What the fuck? Like, besides it's quite sturdy, that's the worst part. I know I could be playing better or whatever, but still, people, like, consider that I have to do this every time I have to come up here. In that sense. Alright, I consider that I have to, the player is meant to do that every time he wants to return, to the to speak with the goddess. It's absolutely terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Oh well, don't worry. I've dealt with worse stuff. Okay, we got that one. We got that one. Now we go back to the other one. Here. I'll teleport back to base, and from the base to, unless it's really really close. No, forget it. Forget it. Let me go back to base, and from the base to the Cradle of Death there with the Ferryman and everyone, and pretty much that should do it. That should do it. That should do it. That should do it. From here, we will go to the other one. Yeah, there. Cradle of Death. Yes, let's go. Yeah, no worries. Pay. No worries. No worries at all. No worries at all. Here we go. And now we have to go back again. Now we have to go back again, people. This is this first hour of objective design is like the worst I've seen ever. Like the worst. Not ever. I've seen worse, but you have offered the holy artifacts to the gods. There is nothing we can do now, but hope it will restore the balance of the powers. You have my thanks. Your great deeds in this life will live on as your legacy in Lothak. So the time has come to enter Yolotl, the place where Agathon and our forefathers hid the world heart long ago. For a while now, Yolotl has emanated a power so evil it could have only been caused by BALOR. Go there to find out what he has done to this special place and destroy him, if you're up to the challenge. Okay. Check the portal to Yolotl again. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god, what are they? What a design, people. What a design. The objective variety, people. The objective variety. They skipped objective variety in class. My god. Oh shit. There we go. Like, it is way too early for my taste to have reached the point in which I'm starting to skip maps, you know? I did so in Sacred 2, but it was much later. Alright, we have to go back again to the door that we had gone before. Like, it forces you to go through the same... I remember that player at the beginning of the stream. He's still AFK there, away from keyboard. Like... if it didn't have that clipping, it would be a bit more mitigated, but that stupid clipping like forces the player to stop and fight. They should have definitely corrected that clipping, because without it, it would have mitigating the very same mistake that they had done with it, which is the lack of objective variety in that sense. What's this? Crashing under magic monster. Monster. There we go. Oh! I smell boss, people. Yes, yes. We all smell boss. That's what the red scary skull indicates. It was Agathon, one of the two sons of the dragon who built Yolotl to hide and shield the world's heart from his brutal brother BALOR. But with Nefertari's help, BALOR started to merge the two worlds into one, trying to reach the artifact that will help him rule the world. Speak to Istak the Wise in Yatlpel. What? No. No, please. Not again. Why was that there? They copied and pasted the objective there. Hang on a second, people. Hang on a second. They copied and pasted the objective. Hang on. Hang on. They copied and pasted the objective. What the fuck? What the fuck? Speak to Istak the Wise in Yatlpel. They copied the objective. They literally copied and pasted the dialogue line of one of the objectives. They copied and pasted it. At least erase this phrase and remove this phrase from it. They copied and pasted the whole text as it was in other of the side code. My fucking god. Why? My god. My god. Enter Yolotl to destroy BALOR and wrest the world heart from his evil clutches. That sounds quite epic. Is it the dragon? Hi. Hi, I'm the idiot here, right at the center of the spot to be killed. Or is it a huge map? No, it's an arena. What? There's no one in here. Hello? Big huge dragon? Poison root of the world heart. Of the world's heart. Uh-huh. Nice animations. BALOR, son of the dragon, 48. Look at that. We're at the correct level. There we go. There we go. What the? What's that? He's in full red now. He gets a stand or what? It would be nice if they would explain those boss mechanics. What the fuck? If they would explain those boss mechanics. What is that? A Balrog. Balrog, like in the Lord of the Rings. Boss. Herald of Corruption. Okay, this is getting interesting. I think I was out of reach. Sorry. Ah, that was a nice dodge. What if happens if I kill the dragon? Nice fire breath there. Well, fire. There, I got it. Oh, fucking stupid cooldown. There we go. So that one, nice peripheral vision there. Nice dodge. We hit. We reactivate the Guardian. We move. That one is dead. And the other one died as well. Ah, they both died as well. Okay. I should have gone for the dragon then. Okay, the other one was like a minion. It was like a minion, like it would die instantly as the. Not the other one died. Nice soundtrack, by the way. Amazing soundtrack. I love that one. Very well done. As you can see, I'm not using any. Yeah, this one could be considered boosted gear or what? And this one, I guess. No, but I think I looted this shit not from. Look at that 7 gold. No, I looted this on my own. Very well done. Okay, I have no more quests. Yes, here, go back. Where's my quest guidance? Hey, I have no quest guidance. And I activated it. Okay. Speak to the same cat guy. It's like the wall in okay, let's go. Nice. Nice. I see. I'm beginning to see some of the things. I'm beginning to understand some of the things that precisely Patrick, District, Flyingenergys have been mentioning. Alhambra, that and Phantom. That when the point in which the game gets boring. Because the boss fight wasn't. I see. You did it! You are a mighty warrior indeed. Eraser, were it not for your bravery, BALOR may have succeeded in tainting the world heart irreversibly. You not only saved the world heart, but all of Lord Tak along with it. The Tayas will never forget what you've done. For generations to come, will sing your praises well. I would be thankful if I were told where to go now. There. That has to be the next chapter. Let's see where it leads us to. Yeah, this final hour before reaching BALOR, I won't forget it because it was like the most repetitive I've seen in the game. Magic carpet ride? Eraser, I have been searching for you. Your reputation as a great hero is well known yet now that we killed that dragon. And I really need someone as brave as you. My cousin sent me a mail pigeon asking for help. Please travel to my hometown, Hi Raja. See if anything is alright. My magic company will take you there. There we go. A stony trail. Let me sell this stuff in the meantime. Sell that, sell that, sell that. Sell all of that. Mystic Rune, out. What else? 20 health points, it's not even worth it. 6 resistances, yes, resistances, yes, resistances, yes. Archmage Robe, 47, 49. Slightly increases everything. Yeah, looks quite good. Okay. Yeah, sadly, all of the armors are kind of like reskins of a previous model with one or two more textures. In that sense. This one, it increases damage. Pretty much. This one does not increase damage. The health points. Okay, let me remove some of the jewelry there from the engraved slots. I think it was here. Work on gems and items. Yeah, that one. Yes, yes, and yes. Good, 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 and good. The other one. Yes, yes, yes. There we go. Magnificent. That should do it. Another magic resistance, weapon attack speed, block value, 6 resistances for everything. Here, this one is full. This one. Under magic resistance. Weapon attack speed. Sounds quite good. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Could it be that I am finally fully equipped? Weapon attack speed. Now, lightning resistance. I resist that one. Resistances for the most part. There. Look at that, I'm fully equipped finally. I think they are all fully. Okay. Done. Good. This one? Ice resistance, good. Health points, no. Fire resistance, I'll keep these here. I think they provide more resistances than the ones that I have. And those ones we sell them. Well, not that they give it a lot. No worries. I'll keep this one just in case I get killed. Armor value, no. I'll keep that one. And I give this one, just in case. Let me deposit the rest of the shit here because I'm sick of it. I don't know what this is. This one, yes, it's essences. Oh, have to sell this. This needs to be destroyed. We'll keep this one here, I guess, and this one here. So they don't bother. This one, I don't know what this shit might be. Skyfall Arena, I can check it out. Some crystals just in case, a revival stone. But I have to sell it. This shit, I don't know what it is. There, that one. Good. Let me sell that one. Florida, Amethyst, health point. Wow, okay. Yeah, don't bother me. We're doing okay. We're doing pretty good. Alright. I'm wondering where it will take me. I'm wondering where it will take me to. Scan complete. Aha! Quaiza. Okay, the final huge zone of the game. I mean, huge. I don't know how huge this shit will be instead. This is, I presume we're getting to the end, because the only zones that we haven't explored are the parallel world and the land of the immortals. The game has only 2 more zones. Atlantis, we did it. This one we did it. Pretty much. There's a boss there that I didn't kill. Had to go back then. Pretty much did everything. I think it's only this one. Okay. I think it's pretty much only this one, huh, people? Okay. I hope it doesn't end like that. Okay, we are like in Middle East. Oh, a new face. My sincerest greetings, stranger. I'm trying to mimic the voice. My cousin Sire sent you. I knew I could count on him. Thank you for helping us. I hope you enjoyed the carpet ride. Sahir does not lend it to anybody. Okay, what level are the people in here? Hey, that one has no head. That's quite cool. That's quite cool. Has no head. 52. Bone coin trader. What's a bone coin? I see no main quests in here. But Great Desert level 45. Could it be that I am locked out of the main quest? Could it be? Could it be that I'm locked out of the main quest? What's this that everyone is around? Purveyor of the Royal Court. What? Could it be that I'm locked out of the main quest? At 48? But it was the level that it was the level of the final boss of that zone. Not this shit again. Could it be that I'm locked out of it? Could it be? Looks like it. I want to check out something. So you cannot pay anything with gold here. So we are almost at level 49. Let's explore the desert just for sake of it. Level 50. Perhaps I need to go to level. I need to get to level 50. Right. Right. Perhaps I need to farm that. And I farmed, people. To unlock the quest, but they're level 48. It's quite extreme. It's quite extreme to lock me out of a main quest. Shit. I hate that shit. Collect healing spheres when you're... That's long stay. Yeah, you can use them at any time. Go back there. I love how most of the times I got killed were derived from that. From area of effect damage, like dealt on me like that. Okay, let's try to level up to 49 a bit. Should be quite close. Let's try to level up, and let's see if that unlocks the next quest. Because as far as I can tell, there we go. What about now? 1,000 points in experience. Okay. Wait, what? I didn't assign this shit. It was done automatically. Well, mana regeneration is a problem, if you ask me. Not when your attacks are not at full power, that's for sure. I use that one the most and the Guardian all the time. Like that. What's this shit? No, quit bothering. This is when they tell you player through here. No. Okay. Let me check, I'll figure this shit out in no time. It has to be the level, huh? Has to be the level, people. Has to be the level. It's got to be the level. Damn it. Damn it. Boo. Yeah. Okay. What about now? Nothing in here. Don't tell me how to reach level 50. What a bitch. What about here in Lower Thack? Where we were. What about here? No, all side quests. Maybe I can farm the grotto that I generally do with district. Should help, because otherwise, or it's been an hour and 35 minutes. We could do Titan Quest. We could do Titan Quest. Then Hagab Stone Grotto. I have them. Where are the stash? Where's the stash? The stash is there. Where's the stash? It was over there. Here. Give me the Dome of Experience. Here we go. Give me that. Ambra, how you doing, Ambra? Soup, how you doing? I wanted to thank you, Ambra. I've already thanked everyone else. You can find your name down here in my legendary plague, because after 4 long years, the channel reached affiliate. How you doing, Ambra? How you doing? Yeah, last time you were in Titan Quest stream. I just beat BALOR here. But apparently I'm locked out of the main quest again, so I'll have to farm a bit. How you doing? So I wanted to thank you. If you want a different name for the plague down here, you tell me. I put like the usernames with every year that they visited the stream. If you want a different name, You tell me and I change it. I just put the usernames, the default usernames, um, by default, pretty much in that sense. How you doing, Umbra? Miss ya a lot, man. Let's see if we can somehow deal with those. Well, Instagram, IG username is good. Huh? Okay. If you like it like that, well, I leave it like that. No, it's been it's been a quite long journey for. I'm just chilling, just tired after this. So you are still farming the game. Well, I've hit a point. I was mentioning it before. I think I've hit the point where I am beginning to understand you all. I will see the game through till the end and everything, but I'm beginning to understand the reason why some of you may get tired of it. I'm farming on two separate accounts at once, well, because of that. I don't know if that counts as getting tired, you know, Umbra? That's why I created a new, now that the stream finally hit that, I created a new beautiful emote. Now I have emotes. And my first one is the only one that I created so far, besides the face, is one that I bet you will also I already showed it to Patrick, to District, to Flying Energies, to everyone. I will show you how happy the developers are. No, not that one. Not that one. This one, like this. That one. Exactly, Ambra. Exactly that one. See, Ambra? Ah, no, this is Flying Energies. Alright, I was showing it to Ambra as well. See how happy that koala is. See how happy. Hello, Flying Energies. How you doing? Hope you had a great day. Hope you had a great day. Thank you from the bottom of my heart the other day for 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 the follows of your brother precisely and David. I remember. Look at that koala, Ambra. See how? What do you think? Ambra is just discovering the koala. Um, Flying Energies. He's confused, Ambra. Now, every time the developers create something for the game that you all love, the koala will be happy. He has that question mark, he's confused, but he's happy. I enlarged the face a bit in that sense. Quite good. So, I was mentioning Ambra. I was precisely mentioning. He's confused why the devs in Drakensang Online are fucking everything up. No, he is a developer. Indeed, he's confused as to the fact that he thinks that he's doing everything right and you all don't appreciate it. That's why he's asking, why if I do everything correctly, the developer, the koala, why? Why is it that pretty much no one appreciates my ideas in that sense, Ambra? No, I was mentioning. I'm finally getting to the point in which I'm beginning to understand why some of you may get burned out of the game. Precisely. Well, they are not doing everything right, but he's happy because he believes he's doing everything. The koala developer. That's why he's happy. He believes that he's doing everything. They are not even making things by themselves, but they believe they are. That's the problem, and you're not appreciating it. That's the irony of it. I enlarged the face a bit so it's visible. Okay. Flying Energies, from Flying Energies, big fan. He says, no, you are the best Flying Energies without he wrote me here in chat with his. Ah, right. They are not like East. They are like different ones. I was at a group in my group invitation. Flying Energies, Twitter, would you like to disable group request? Flying Energies, would you, you want to help me farm? All the content they add is literally assets that were made by previous, you want to help me? Oh, there you are, there's Flying Energy, it's the first time, I saw this guy on the stream the other day. there he is. Look at that. That nice sword is amazing. Here, I'll leave the chat open in case he wants to say something. Look at that. And you have a skull. Look at that. Oh, and the Yorick Burnish on that also district has. Look at that thing there. Well, some minutes ago I was mentioning I beat BALOR. Oh, a Chimera! Look at that, Flyingenergys. You are there online. Look at that beautiful Chimera, and it has also a scorpion tail. Nice, why nice. And the skull. Some minutes ago I saw a guy that had kind of like a headless rider. Had kind of like a headless rider in one of the deserts. So I was mentioning I just beat BALOR. Here you can see here on the map, people, that I did all of the main quests. That's the Manticore, says Ambra. Yes, there, that one, exactly that one, Flyingenergys, exactly that one. He had no head like that. The cape had a different drawing, but it was like that. There you have a Joker. Would you look at that? And a medieval helm, and you by default you use the skull, the glowing skull. You can do emotes like that. Oh, you can also do emotes in the game. Look at that. Look at that. There's Flyingenergys. He, oh, he also kind of like does formal bows and those things. Incredible. Well, you know, people, he talks. Wow, that's so cool. I didn't know the game had so many amazing emotes for people in that sense. I don't like pre-made costumes. No, but the one without the head, Ambra, you don't like it. There, ask for you. well, well, precisely. Well, but they need to be there, Ambra. They were not my type. It's okay, it's okay. Even the PvP ones, not your type, Ambra. You don't like the emotes in that sense. Oh, look at that nice little pet. It's like a spirit. Not your type. Okay, okay, okay. It's not your type of 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 stuff. You would wish they would do that. Hey, it's the first time I saw him on stream, but at that lad that like I see him like live at the same time as I am. Look at that. I was mentioning precisely to all of you that I got to the point. I beat BALOR at the beginning of the stream, and I did 1 hour, and I'm not exaggerating. Flyingenergys, if you're watching from your stream, Ambra, everyone, I did 1 hour, 1 hour entirely of going back and forth between the Cradle of Life and the Cradle of Death, and to enter the Cradle of Life each time I had to kill the same guardian. I know if anyone remembers this part of the game because you probably are all playing the end game and you don't remember it. It was in this zone I had to go back and forth for 1 hour and 22 minutes. I had it kind of like measured. And I was mentioning I'm only level 49. You're telling me you're at the end of the. You're probably level 100 is the top that they've been mentioning. You do remember, Ambra. Well, uh, if level 100 is the maximum, like Flyingenergys here, he's probably an endgame character. I was leveling 4 characters to level 100 lately, says Ambra. Yes, but this part, well, you do remember it. Ambra, what do you think of this part? Because I think it was the most atrocious level design out of all of the maps that I played. It was going back and forth between both of them constantly. Constantly. I was mentioning today precisely the naming convention of fetch quest. Flyingenergys, I don't want to retain you if you have to go, if you have to do crazy hardcore end game stuff and everything. I'm pretty much stuck because I killed BALOR. I killed BALOR after all of this, and it's not that bad, says Ambra. But Ambra, you have it at the beginning of this stream. If you remember it, if it's not that bad, the proportion that I always mention that a game can add replayability through depth or content. Depth, the amount of time it takes for us to master the gameplay mechanics for any new player, and content, the amount of maps that they throw into the game. Here, it was backtracking constantly. It was backtracking constantly, and I would carry, but I need to sleep. No, 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 don't worry, Flyingenergys. Don't worry, don't worry. I will farm it. I will farm the side quests in this zone uh, to unlock it. Don't worry, don't worry. No, 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 no. Don't worry, don't worry. Or it was something like that. I just hate you, Wakanos or something like that. No, no, no. Don't worry, Flying Energy, and always thank you from the bottom of my heart for the raid yesterday, for visiting me, for appreciating, for saying big fan, for everything, for everything. You are a kind soul, and I wish I could invite you to a drink. You district. Same goes for Phantom and Patrick and Ambra. Oh, by the way, Razor, you want to finish whole main quest line, right? Yes, I just beat BALOR. I just did the progress. No, no, no. And hope you have a great sleep, Flying Energies. Don't worry. No, 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 no. I don't need. I don't need. I will farm all of those zones in here, and it was great checking up with you. And as I said, I would invite you all to a drink if I were there in Europe with you, but I'm in the Americas. That's the thing. Well, then you'll have to get to level 100. Okay, then we will do so. I criticize games heavily, Umbra. So it is my responsibility to, in the meantime, deal with those things. So, Flying Energies, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your character is amazingly cool. Thank you for the raids and everything, and your continued support. You and District, both of you are amazing people. Would invite you all to a drink if I were in Europe. And no worries, we'll see it through. I think it was Jacob, the one who mentioned that he's pushing alone like you, Ambra, like um, without the caring. They're adding new content, new maps, new main quests in the next update. Okay, that's what District has been mentioning to me, for example. That's what District has been mentioning to me, for example. So let's grab the side quests, see if we can farm it old school way, like you're all doing. No, Ambra. Okay, there we go. He had to go. We wish Flying Energies a huge, amazing sleep and night. Okay, Ambra. Uh, and they're for level 100 only. Okay, but they are story content, like what I'm doing, like here. Okay, no, I was mentioning that I'm getting to the point in which the game begins to feel repetitive. Thanks, smile. See ya next time. See ya, Flying Energy, says Ambra as well. Okay, no, no, no. Thank you for the bottom of my hammer. Yeah, they're story content. Okay. Maybe we can deal with that. No, I was mentioning Ambra. I was mentioning that I finally go to the point where it feels like they are fetch quests, but I want to get as to why. I'm analyzing why in this stream. Uh, Generally, and here I cited The Witcher 3 precisely in that sense. What makes us call something a fetch quest? But don't worry, getting to level 100 is pretty easy. Okay, no, Jacob did it, for example. Jacob is another viewer from Sechia. I think you saw him the other day. He's also doing it like that. So we'll just grab the quests, people, and let them and finish them in this zone, as I just killed the BALOR and progressing through it. Um, I was mentioning that I want to get as to why I got to why in the hour that I was doing it back and forth. Why is it that that we call a side quest a fetch quest? When do we reach a point in which the side quest? Well, I'm not doing it like that anymore. I'm just chilling with my guild. Yeah, you are doing. Yeah, I get the point. You are doing it for the sake of socializing with the people, right? In that sense. So it's valid. It's absolutely valid. But yeah, the thing is that I was mentioning that at what point is the naming convention fetch quest considered appropriate in the sense of the game getting quite repetitive? Well, I've been mentioning that while most of the player base makes the mistake of considering the naming convention fetch quest, the second they think that the writing of a side quest is not there, like that. Like, for example, you do the main story quest and it has a great story that you enjoy a lot and everything, and then you get a side quest, which is kill 10 mobs. So no storyline, and the direct consequence of no storyline, this is what I've been pretty much analyzing. Since there's no storyline, the developers say, well, the player base, sorry, say, well, the developers created a fetch quest in that sense. A fetch quest. Here we can increase the difficulty to painful, so increases the experience. But that puts the emphasis on the storyline. Well, I don't even know the storyline. XD. That leads me to the point. What truly, and I mentioned this in my review of Sacred 2, I highly recommend you, Ambra, that you play Sacred 2. And I think only one person in my guild knows the story. Well, now it's two. Well, I'm not in your guild, but people that you know in general. I know it. You know that this game is actually like the third game in the series, right? You know that this is the third one. The story is in another game that I played. It's over at YouTube. It's called Drakensang 1: The Dark Eye. It's a tabletop game. It's like Baldur's Gate, like real time with pause, 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons. Yep, I know. You know The Dark Eye. Okay. Yeah, well, it's the game that I played before this one, and it's that one has the real story. The problem is that when they acquired the Radon Labs, I think it was Deep Silver or something like that, is when they lost the license to the original, to using the original, the original license of the tabletop game, in that sense. So they lost that, and that's why they changed all the names. You know that the original name of the continent was Aventuria, and here they name it Duria. Like, it sounds similar, but it's a different one. But it does sound similar in that sense. So I read this in the first stream, pretty much. So they did that, and that led me to the topic that I was analyzing. That precisely, I do believe, I don't know what you think, that when we call something fetch way, like in a derogatory way, with a negative connotation, the player base does so because of the story, because they don't care about the story, because precisely the story does not capture them enough. And I think it should be the naming convention determined by the influence of the level design of the game. Because what do I mean with this abstract concept or whatever? I mean that imagine for a second, just like when we talked about the skill trees, that in this game, instead of the objective variety in the framework of the level design being that you go from point A to point B to point C killing monsters, imagine if you had to do escort quests from one town to the other. Imagine that you have to protect an escortee, right? An escortee, an NPC that has to survive till you reach the next town. Imagine that. Or imagine that there's a quest in which you have to do a puzzle, or another one in which you have to retrieve a specific object that applies special conditions to your character, like making it walk faster or slower, or deal a different type of damage, or whatever in general. Imagine that, how it would balance out what I was mentioning in the previous stream regarding what makes a game actually repetitive in a negative connotation or not. That is the key. I think that if they could have mitigated the repetitive nature of it with more objective variety. In that sense, the game feels like you are doing always the same, and now I'm understanding why some of you may get burned out, like getting tired of the game completely from time to time as you play it. I get it, but I wanted to rationalize why, and the reason is that you master the gameplay mechanics fast enough as to farm and do your things in game, and they just add content that is the same. That way, that's why I established two concepts precisely in the previous days, just as a little bit of a quick recap. Repetitiveness. Don't tell me I'm killing a single boss every day over and over and over and over and over again. That's why, but I want to rationalize why. Do you enjoy the fighting itself? Activating the abilities? Forget about the boss for a second, Ambra. Do this exercise, just so you see my analytic view of this situation. Then I will get into the concepts precisely. The fighting itself. Ignore the boss doesn't exist. Activating the abilities like this and attacking, that's the enjoyable part of it. Why you might keep doing it or what make it tolerable to keep doing it. The problem is that you cannot replayability to the game. Yeah, well, precisely. I mentioned these two concepts the other day. If you watch the bot and you already heard about them, no worries at all. But I know that you like bots, so but it depends on the class. Well, but the gameplay mechanics, basically the gameplay mechanics. What I established the other day is that what we generally, in an unconscious way, called the repetitiveness, killing the same boss over and over and over again, is actually a disparity. See how interesting it is. As I'm trying to rationalize it, or I rationalized it last week, it's a disparity between adding replayability through content, adding more maps. What do you mean? I don't like bots. No, not bots. No. I mean this. It's my analysis of the game. I review the games precisely. I mean a disparity in how they add content to the game. There's two ways a developer can add content to a game. Adding more maps, right? Adding the new maps that you were mentioning to me, more maps to the story and etc. Adding more maps. Adding more to the level design, right? Or through content or through depth. And precisely the concept of depth is what I have been mentioning. The amount of time it takes for a player to be efficient in combat, right? The problem, what players mention as repetitiveness and precisely killing the boss over and over again, is precisely a disparity between the two opposite poles of that spectrum. The game, you have already mastered the depth of it, you're already efficient in combat, you're already good at it, but maybe the amount of content that they add does not keep up with the depth. The content does not keep up with the depth. That is the case with online games like this one, in which the player base has mastered the gameplay mechanics and they don't have enough content to make use of those gameplays that you may enjoy regardless of the class. The opposite case of this disparity that could happen, I'm trying to rationalize it because you know that I'm quite analytic with these things, and precisely I think that that when we don't understand why things happen, we cannot really comprehend their inherent nature. That's the thing, and I want to, for everyone watching this as a YouTube bot or as a Twitch bot or etc., to rationalize it as much as possible in that sense. So what is the case? Most of the player base has already mastered the depth of the game 100%. You all perfectly know how to farm and etc. And it's not a challenge for you. Because if you are farming the same boss over and over again, it's not a challenge for you. But the content does not keep up with the depth. So there's the disparity I talked about at the beginning. See my point? I don't mean about using bots. Precisely, no, that never. No, I meant that disparity. Now, what's the opposite pole Because the opposite could also happen, people. The opposite could also happen. What happens if you have a lot of maps, a huge game world, but you don't have the depth? But the game is just way too simple. I think it's a case of Minecraft. The game is infinite. You can create infinite universes, but the depth of the combat is like directly simplistic in that sense, compared to this or whatever. There are no stats involved, etc. So, in that sense, when that disparity happens, I see a correlation between that and the feeling that I have doing the quest back and forth of the game being repetitive. In that sense, that's what I would say. Actually, it's not infinite. It's not infinite Minecraft. It has a limit. I didn't know. What's the limit, Umbra? No, please tell me. It has a limit. I never played. I don't like it. I thought it was like Mario Maker, in which you just create. It does have a limit. I don't know. What's the limit? If you like it, I have a nice recommendation. There's one that is Cube Creator DX on the Nintendo 3DS, exclusive to that system. That is pretty much like a different portable version of it. The size of the world is 30 million times 30,000. No, another 30 million blocks. Okay. Another 30 million blocks. Well, there. It's a lot of content, but the combat isn't like Drakensang. That's why a lot of people may play Drakensang. And in the case of Minecraft, I think it was mostly played by kids, but nowadays everyone plays it. But at the beginning it was like that. No surprise, because of how simplistic. And console versions, I mean the old ones, were 10K by 10K or something like that. Oh, I didn't know that. See, that's why I love chatting with you all, because I always learn something new about those things. It had a limit like that. Okay, well, a huge game world. No, the one that I would highly... Well, right, but you liked online games, I remember. One that is quite similar to this one that you may love is London 2038. In that sense. London 2038, Hellgate London. That one is quite good. It's a game that I analyzed 2 years ago, precisely. So that one you may like it. It hits the same spot as this one. I must stay with drakensangonline. You love it because it's already like your life experience is imprinted in the game. I have too much to do. Well, then the Koala developers had a good idea. They keep you engaged with the game. Now I see that you told me. No, it's not that I'm being kept engaged with the game. It's just that I'm creating the accounts to gift them to the players. No. Shit, that thing. Should I pay? There's one thing. If there's one positive thing, one positive aspect that I will highlight about the game. Hey, look at that. It's not that bad. We are getting there. Probably I could do it faster if I. No, but we're already at the limit. More than 54 will then. It's a terrible idea to lock. If you ask me, people to lock out the player from progressing with the main quest, just because of the level. I would let the player, if the player wants to be reckless and go ahead and do something crazy, let him do it. If he gets killed, well, it's his responsibility in that sense. Well, from level 45 I got my character to level 100 in 3 hours, but alone, like solo, or like I've been doing with District, like he sending me to Hagavstone Grotto at increased difficulty level, so I would get more experience. Oh wait, I have the Tome of Experience. In that sense, I forgot to use it. True. Like a solo. You probably do it solo if you had 2 accounts open. Yeah, alone says well. Damn it. Damn it. In 3 hours. And what were you farming? Where you must have been using the what was it, the one that Patrick mentioned, the boosted gear, and farming a dungeon that is way of a much higher level than yours. Probably like that with the boosted gear from another character. That's probably it in that sense. We don't count 4 of my friends. Okay. We don't count. You're not counting them. Okay, okay, bro. In that sense. The irony. No, you did it with the other ones. All right, it was like a joint effort then to get accounts and gift them to your friends. I'm beginning to see a point in that sense. Okay. By the way, one day I have to on enemies with level 128. Okay. So yeah, it was like that. Farming a boosted dungeon, let's say. Okay. In that sense. Okay. I have the other thing that I was mentioning as a quite good design that the game has, if there's a positive aspect to it. Well, I'm not meaning to gift accounts. Okay. It's for you then. It's for you. Okay. No, I was just impressed by. I just play one on more than. Okay. For your personal one, I honestly. Well, maybe if you want to tell me why, don't tell me. But I may then ask why. But if you're gonna tell me, don't tell me. Just I keep talking about another topic and ignore it. But but if you do, why would be in that sense? Like, I don't know. What would be the point of doing that? But no worries. If you're gonna tell me, no. Well, if you're gonna tell me, no, don't tell me. Why? Yes, why more than one account? To be honest, I have no fucking idea. No. I have no fucking... Well, you just confuse the poor koala developers again. You have no fucking idea. The poor koala developers are... If they were confused in that emote, I honestly have no idea how they would be confused now, even more. Alright. It's okay. Not everything in life has an explanation, it's just that I seek it nevertheless. It's just my nature. I know that it doesn't happen to the rest of the people, I just seek the explanation no matter what. In that sense, I am terribly... I was talking about this with District the other day. I'm always terribly haunted and in a terrible despair as to all of the questions about our universe, about what's besides our planet. It's quite curious what's beyond our solar system in that sense, and I always ask myself why. That's why you reminded me of that chat that I had with him, precisely because of that. Because I'm always wondering why things happen, why this happens, why this other thing happens, and yeah, sometimes I forget that that other people are like that, but I'm just like that. I always need to explain why until the very last fraction of it. It's like that. In that sense. Did the internet connection get better, Amber? I almost forgot. I'm literally doing the same thing I was doing on one account, just twice. I forgot to mention, Ambra. Since the channel hit affiliate, the problem that you mentioned to me that you had with the internet connection can now be mitigated. You now, if you click on the cog at the in the lower right corner of the stream, you have lower resolutions, and that should stop the interruptions that you mentioned that it happened to you only with my channel. It's because of that. Now you can control it. It's only for its minimum affiliate, and in that sense, fortunately, I just have it on auto. Well, precisely on auto, it regulates the connection, and did it fix? Did it get fixed for now at least? Because I remember I told you that's because it doesn't auto regulates the connection. It's because of that. You it should be fixed in that sense now, because now it auto regulates to your bandwidth. It auto regulates to your bandwidth. In that sense, it auto regulates to your bandwidth. And the second, it works good. IG. I good. I could never. then I have to Google that one. I don't know what it means. You think probably or they it. Yeah, that one. It works. It works good. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, it's like that. It's that before affiliate, the channels don't. The channels can only stream. I guess. Okay. I guess. Okay. Got it. Perfect. That was one of the huge steps of humanity. Sometimes IG in game. Okay. Yeah, I'm terrible with acronyms in that sense. Okay, so well, glad that I could fix that. And the second thing that it fixes is that the bots now stay up for 15 days at least. I know that you don't like the bots, but there are people who just cannot tune in at the correct time, and they love it, and they love those. Okay, so everything is getting fixed in that sense. I added the names to the Hall of Fame. I added the confused koala emote. Then I will progressively add even more. So basically, the idea is that now I will stream 3 times a week. 3 times a week, as I promised. I don't know if it will be Wednesdays. Then I will ask everyone what would be. You know what IGN mean? IGN, yes, the game reviewer, the magazine, the game reviewer. IGN. If someone tells me IGN is the game reviewers that I can criticize them for hours and hours and hours and hours, if you let me. If you leave me like that, I can criticize IGN. Yeah, the gaming magazine. For XD is probably in-game name. Oh, damn it. Yeah, I told you I'm terrible with those. Patrick did some the other day, but they were way too brutal for me to reproduce them. So we were talking about names, and he mentioned I like the name Lana because I can read it backwards. He's also a great guy. He's amazing. In that sense. So yeah, pretty much. I mentioned I was mentioning to them my real XD. Yeah. You probably did it in your head now and you realize it. He said, and the subtle way in which he mentioned it was great. We were talking about names. Because I told him my real name. I was telling them my real name to Phantom and to Patrick. If you see them, it's Phantom and C4 feel in my face. That's Patrick. He's from Hungary. Precisely, we were mentioning names. And I was mentioning, well, I like Tiffany, Brandon. Phantom was saying, since I'm Greek, I like some other Greek names there. He mentioned Aphrodite and etc. And I mentioned him my real names, and he said, well, in a very subtle way, I like Lana. Especially because you can read it backwards. especially because you can read it backwards. No, I think I didn't tell you my real name, Ambra. No need to tell me to tell me yours at all. I didn't ask him out of them at all. My real name is Emmer Christian. In that sense, I told it to them to Patrick the other day, and I think yeah, to Phantom I had already told it to him. So yeah, we started talking about names, and precisely he's mentioned that one. No, IGN, the magazine seems hard. No, why? Why seems hard? Because I'm an atheist. You mentioned. He also mentioned that his first reaction was, "That's a hell of a name for an atheist." Seems hard. Or will you mean the boss here? You mean the name or the boss? The name to pronounce or the boss? That seems hard. My English name translation would be Jake. Okay. Alright, it's because of the translation. Okay. The name, hard to pronounce. Okay, because it's Polish. Okay. The other day, would you believe that that your compatriots, some of the Polish viewers that supposedly hated me back then, they still watch the channel. They watch the bots. It's weird. No, yours. The name is hard. Ah, no. How to pronounce Emmer Christian. No. It's like this. Or just Christian. My name in Polish is Jacob. Like that one is mine. Like that. Jacob, like, oh, yeah. Is that's my complete. That explains it. Yeah. It's because I generally don't bother them with the first one is a Syrian name. It's an Arabic name, and the second one is like the French is directly French English. So I just say Christian and call it a day. I don't bother them. In Roman derived countries, we have you can have two main names, two first names. I mean, one first name, one middle name, and you can have two last names as well. I have a total of 4. I have I have first name, middle name, and 2 last names. In that sense. Speaking about names, what do you think about my new IGN in-game name? Terlion. Sounds amazing, huh? Sounds amazing. You are using Greek letters there to replace the E's, so no one takes it. Or if it was already taken. I think it's quite amazing, eh? Sounds amazing. Terlion. Because it sounds like moon. It sounds like moon. I think it sounds amazing. Greek and Russian. Okay. I get it. So your name is like Jacob. It's like Jacob from Sechia. So you. I think you were here when he was his another user from Sechia. Jacob the Ice King was the user. Yeah, you have the same name as him. Could it be? That's interesting. that's a amazing coincidence. Greek and Russian. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing, that when you like translate them to English, they like lose a lot of the flair that the original language conveys. In that sense, for example, my first one, Emmer, for example, was Prince in Arabic, and if I say it in English, for example, no one would even mention it. You know, that's why. You know that precisely. I already mentioned it to everyone pretty much. I think by now. I think you were there because you all visit at different times. That I'm Italian, that I use Italian citizenship, but one of my great grandpas was precisely Syrian. He's one of the ones Oh, by the way, I can see your skill tree by chance? Sure, sure. I'm using a different one. Patrick created a different skill tree for me. Let's say created. He mentioned that I inspired him and some others to play the game like I'm playing it, like from zero, and that he was testing skill trees, and he gave me one that is quite resistant. Give me a sec. This is quite good because Patrick has played the game a lot, so since he was a child, so he has a lot of experience. This the one this one is fucked up. It's the one that I've been using from the beginning since I started the stream. But this combo is what I changed. Previously I had everything on crit, and as you can see, Patrick designed this skill tree, and it allows the mage to not be that squishy, Umbra. Don't know which is the one that you use, but basically I've been using this one, and thanks to that, I've been using this one, and thanks to that, I've been able to get through the bosses quite easily in that sense, quite easily. Shit. Show me the experience once again. The experience one is the one from right from the beginning. It's like a general skill tree to cover all of the elemental types. I use the ice vessel, the frost wind, the guardian for fire damage, and pretty much the only I think I mentioned it to you. The only branch of the skill tree that has a sequential rotation is the frost one. Do you want my recommendations? Sure, fire away. Fire away, Umbra. They could give you a boost. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah, it's fucked up. It's right from the beginning. Like the wisdom one. The wisdom one, I can try all of your skill trees. I can try them without a doubt. This is Patrick's formula so far has been the most efficient because it's quite sturdy for a mage. Previously I was getting one-shotted. Like, without this one, you get killed in one blow for a mage. Without a doubt. In that sense. Mm-hmm. Ah, you mean the main one, bro. 2 points in Ice Mastery. 10 points in Singularity. Ice Mastery. This one you mean. 10 points in Frost Nova. 10 points in... Only allows 5 this one, I think. 10 points in Frostwind, and the rest into the Missile. Into the Ice Missile. Ice Mastery, you mean this one, right? Yep. Okay, you probably mean this one. Or you mean that this one only gets a 5. Okay. This one, Frozen Sphere inflicts... Yeah. 5 out of 5, but it takes 10 points. Okay. Got it. Okay. 2 out of 10. Master of Ice, 2 out of 10. Alright, you would spend here. Yeah, I haven't taken a look into this thing yet. Like... Haven't taken a look into the... Okay, so you would pick this one. Okay, that's good. Since Patrick designed the Wisdom one, and District and Flyingenergys did this one, you would take a shot at this one. Okay. The Frozen Sphere inflicts times 4 additional frost on hit enemies. Enemies hit will inflict a frost explosion. I can see why. Okay. So next time I level up, I'll grab that one. Okay. Yeah, this is good because you all participate in a way, in that sense. Alright, let's see if we can kill the boss of the dungeon. See if we can keep farming the stuff. in that sense. Okay, just have little 3 years of experience with mage. No, no worries, no worries. It's about you all participating in the stream. What I love, in that sense. I will find my way out. I'll find my way to beat the game eventually. I hope. I hope. I hope. I hope. But it will happen. But yeah. Well, when you level up, my recommendation will change again. Well, see, I don't know if you can respec in this game. I bet you can. The wisdom one, I could. I don't know about the wisdom one. I knew that you could respec with the little cog there. The other one, the experience one. Yeah, that one. That wasn't good. What is? Nicely done. You know, people, this is officially my first ever dungeon that I soloed. On a harder difficulty than what it should be. Oh shit. Now I see that I get killed. You can reset the level skill tree with gold. Okay, okay. And regarding the inventory, I remember that you were the one who told me the first time you discovered the stream to expand the inventory with the shop and extending the inventory times 3. But this trick is mentioning to me that there's an event in which I can also get that and then also keep the undermanned in that sense. So I'm holding out for that one. I'm holding out for that one. But if it doesn't, the inventory is unbearable. So, so yeah, I will take your option as well. I'm considering. Yep, it's in a few days. Okay, okay, okay. It's in a few days. Okay. So you wouldn't have me do this, going here and choosing the inventory expansion, that because I remember you were the one who mentioned it to me the very first time you visited, like this one. I would keep it, but you'll need help to finish that event, in my opinion. Okay, 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 okay. So we'll see if I get the help. If I get the help, if it happens. Otherwise, I will follow your formula of using that to expand the inventory. I already have the Underman, so I have it ready, like there, waiting for it to happen. In that sense, there for it to happen. Okay, pretty much. Thank you, Umbra. I have the two options. I was mentioning that another incredible aspect, that a positive aspect that the game has, is that some of the dungeons I was over at the Ferryman, and it was quite dark. I love, by the way, once you hit level 50, you just have to invest a point into Blood Mage. Alright, if you stay around, I think it should be in the next hour or so, pretty much. I don't know what Blood Mage may be, but I will figure it out. Otherwise, I Google it. But pretty much, I'll look into it. Blood Mage. The point into Blood Mage. Like that. Quite good. Aha, this one. A new item has been added to your inventory. She's not there. Follow the trail of blood to follow the source. Just look at it. It's the level skill tree. Bottom right corner. Okay. The Blood Mage. So you have to invest one point into blood. Instead of the Ice Mastery, you would pick as the first one. Instead of the Ice Mastery. Okay. Instead of Ice Mastery, you would do it like... Instead of this one, Arcane Concentration, Blood Mage. Unlock with level... Your skills cost no mana anymore? What the... Well, to be honest, I would reset the skill tree, actually. Alright. No, I can grab another preset. Otherwise. Get a premium membership and receive. Alright, you can be an idiot only twice. Okay, I get the point. You can be an idiot once, here. I don't know if this one would help. This one was like not finished. I don't know if this one has any chance of survival. It's a bit more like in the past. What the fuck is this? Your skills cost no mana anymore. 30% increased damage. The damage of the Guardian, I hope it includes the Guardian of Flames. I hope it includes the Guardian of Flames. Is reduced by 50, but it heals 2% of your health points per second. How much would it cost you to reset the first skill tree? The first one, this one. That is in gold? My lord is game. My fucking lord is game. What the fuck? What the fuck is this shit? Click on it. You must pay to reset the talent points. This will return 207. Why there? No. Click on it. It's in copper. It's in copper. Okay. Well, hang on a second. Wait. No. Please, no. No, please, no. Shit. Wait. I was doing something. It's in copper. All right. Okay. And why does it include 4 zeros? The fuck? Okay. Your chance, Umbra. You do the skill tree. I know that this one is 100% needed. Go to the city. And trust my skill tree. Yeah, of course I trust you. No, we can do it here. I don't think I will get killed here. 10-point singularity. Okay? It's your time to shine. Everyone had a chance, so it's yours. The wisdom one has been working quite well, the one that Patrick did. So that one is for Patrick, and this one is for you. 5/5 on Frost Nova, but I don't use it, because I don't have enough mana. I ran out of mana. But maybe with that one it will. Okay, I get the point. 5/5, the Frost Nova. This one. Okay. The Icy Wind, yes, is needed. The Frost Wind. You had mentioned it before. Maybe I can recap. To win a matter, Frost Nova.